Hi, it's Indycar Dad, and this is the Indycar news in 5 minutes. Here's what happened in Indycar this week. Everything's about St. Pete this week. It's the opening race, and teams and drivers are traveling down here. I'm writing this on Friday evening after practice one, so we'll have some idea what's happening. The part of the news is Prema was a no-show. I think most people knew this was coming, but they just didn't make it here, so that's a bad sign. Um, we can look closely at some practice times. IndyCar releases like the top practice times, but they're combined times. So if one of the individual sessions is slower than the other, which they generally are because one's on a colder track, then it masks some things. So we can talk about who is fast in each of the sessions. In the first session, Scotty Mack was fastest with Palou, Malukas Ericsson, and Scott Dixon making the top five. In the first split group, Kiffin Simpson was actually the fastest, which is kind of interesting. Then Palou, Marcus Armstrong. So that's three Chip Ganassi kind of cars right up front. Rasmussen and Malukas were fourth and fifth. In the second split, we had Scott McLaughlin, who's been fast all weekend, Felix Rosenquist, Kyle Kirkwood, Marcus Ericsson, and Renus VK was in the top five. So interesting things there. Ganassi cars are fast, Andretti cars are fast, or a couple of them. Noted absences in the top five. There's no McLarens. They haven't showed speed in testing earlier in the season, and their results here aren't awesome yet. So we'll see what happens. And also the rookies are really struggling. The best rookie was 17th place, Dennis Hauger, and Mick Schumacher's in 23rd and Kyle Koetz in 24th. So the rookies are not doing well yet. In fact, ROL is really struggling. Graham's fastest in 19th, Foster's 22nd, and Mick is 23rd. So the worst showing by any teams by far. Hunko's is way better, and Dale Coyne's way better too. So, and Will Power isn't quite sorted yet. He's 18th overall. So hopefully that'll start to gel for him. All right, so that's practice. There's some interesting things this weekend. Some former IndyCar races are in the support races. Sebastian Bourdais, who lives near here, will be racing in the Mazda Miata Cup, which is all banging and busting. And then Dario Franchitti and James Hinchcliffe will be in the Craftsman Truck Series. That's all banging and busting. So it should be really interesting to see some of the support races. I was looking forward to the truck qualifying and practice today because it was going to rain. But as soon as it started raining during practice, someone crashed and they just shut the whole practice and qualifying down. So they announced they're going to decide what to do. So we'll see. Hopefully they don't line up the cars for a race based on season points, because that'll put Franchitti and Hinchcliffe way in the back because they haven't run, So anyway, in other news, Alex Palou, McLaren, and Chip Ganassi settled all their lawsuits and all of that sort of stuff. So that's overdone and all that. In funny news, Fox released a survey done with the drivers. It asked them who they were most comfortable being racing alongside of. Scott Dixon won that one, but then they asked who they're least comfortable racing alongside of, and Christian Rasmussen was voted least likely. The funny thing is, Romain Grosjean was voted second least likely, and he didn't even race in the series last year. So that tell you what we're in for this year. In boring news, the Indy 500 ticket design was revealed. Guess what? It's got last year's winner on it. It always does. Duh. And sponsor updates, Pelosi re-signed Solo Cup. Rosenquist is running a Tom Petty car based on the XM thing. Mick Schumacher's is sponsored by some super expensive carbon fiber bike company. And Marcus Armstrong signed Remax Real Estate. So that's pretty good. Indy cars are going to get some flaps so they don't come off the ground if they spin sideways at the Indy 500. So that's a little technical news. And then on the driver side, here in St. Pete, I've heard there's a few drivers that are walking around talking to teams looking for 500 rides. I know Connor Daly's here because I saw him. I also heard Linus Lundqvist is here, and I'd love to see him back in a car. And I also heard that Devlin DeFrancesco's here. So there you go. That's it for IndyCar news in 5 minutes. And we're off to the practice, qualifying, and racing tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it. Thanks. I'm IndyCar Dad. You can find me on Instagram, where I'll post more stuff, including reviews of food at the racetrack. And then I'm on TikTok for some reason, even though I'm old and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm there. And of course, you can find me on all the podcast networks and on YouTube. Thank you.